After President Trump secured a 2-week peace deal with Iran, we have Democrats that are now coming out calling for the president to be impeached and for him to be removed from office. After the Democrats, for weeks, they've been saying that this war is illegal and that the president should end this war. And now that there is a ceasefire, they're calling for impeachment. You just cannot make this up. Let us get into it, starting with this video of this Democrat calling for the president to be impeached after that ceasefire. Play clip.
This president is a danger to this country and this democracy. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at all options. All of our options must be on the table, from impeachment, the 25th Amendment, to winning elections, which is actually my primary goal right now as the recruitment chair for House Democrats, is to win elections and to take power away from Donald Trump.
I don't understand the argument as to how the president is a danger to this country and to democracy. Because for one, we have seen the president have done nothing but actually try to help out the country, because under Joe Biden, the borders were open, inflation was through the roof, no one respected this country. And now President Trump came into office and he's turning all that around. And we have an article here that states that dozens of Democrats called for Trump's removal after Iran threats. And the article reads, dozens of congressional Democrats called for President Trump to be removed from office Tuesday after he used extreme rhetoric against Iran that included threatening to wipe out a whole civilization, quote unquote. And the article continues to say that more than 70 lawmakers, including a handful of senators, said in separate social media posts that Trump's cabinet needs to invoke the 25th Amendment to the Constitution and declare him unfit to serve. Congress should impeach and convict him, or do both. As you can see, over 70 lawmakers, we're talking about Democrats here, threatening to impeach and remove the president from office, which is the reason why the Republicans, they need to start producing for the American people so they can re-elect him to the House and to the Senate. Because if the Democrats, they should win the midterms, what you're going to see are a whole bunch of impeachment hoax to impeach the president and his administration. Because the president did nothing wrong and they still want to impeach him. Because what the president achieved was a 2-week ceasefire between the United States, Iran, and Israel. And here we have a reporting on that ceasefire. Play clip.
Trump just got Iran to cry uncle. They've been calling him crazy for making threats, but guess the threats worked. The strait's on its way to being opened, and Iran's promising to stop firing missiles and drones. The next 24 hours will be the test. If oil tankers start sailing through, we're on our way to officially ending this and hitting the president's 6-week time frame. If they play games, back to bridge and power plant day. The mullahs should know better. Their economy's in a depression. Heavy industry like steel, petrochemicals, and their military-industrial complex have been obliterated. People were already taking to the streets during the last economic crisis, and now it's 10 times worse. All morning, we were peppering their crown jewel, Carg Island. That's something Iran can't afford to lose. And our B-52s are already on their way to theater today, but Iran had no choice. The New York Times is also reporting China begged the Iranians to take the deal, saying their economy couldn't take it anymore. The regime was backed into a corner, and the president believed that sending in soldiers to open up the strait and seize Carg wouldn't be wise.
So what happened is that Iran and China, they came to the United States and they begged for a ceasefire deal, which we're giving them because, for one, we want to end this war. It's not like the president want to continue a forever war. And if you listen to the Democrats in the first place, they made it seem like we were losing this war, like the United States was losing this war. And now the president got a ceasefire deal. They're saying, well, you know what? We're going to impeach you. For what? No apparent reason. And here we have Hakeem Jeffries, who went on CNN to have a complete meltdown over the ceasefire. Play clip.
2-week ceasefire is insufficient. We need a permanent end to Donald Trump's reckless war of choice, which is why House Democrats have demanded that Speaker Mike Johnson immediately reconvene the House back into session so we can move a war powers resolution that will end this conflict permanently.
That seems unlikely to happen. What do you actually think is going to happen in this 2-week period? What do you need to, assuming that doesn't happen, what do you need to see happen or want to see happen in this 2-week period?
Assuming it doesn't happen this week, we'll go back into session next week and we will present a war powers resolution as soon as it becomes available to us to do so as a matter of privilege on the House floor. All we need are a handful of Republicans to join us. The American people strongly oppose this reckless war of choice and know that we should not be spending billions of dollars to drop bombs in Iran while Republicans and Donald Trump are unwilling to spend a dime to actually make life more affordable for the American people, including but not limited to by
So I'm going to stop that right there. The thing is, if you go back to about 20 years or so ago and listen to every president, we're talking about both Republicans and Democrats. What they'll tell you is that Iran is one of the biggest threats to the United States and then would come into office and do nothing about it. But President Trump actually stepped up to the table and did something about Iran, because President Trump is one of the only presidents to say he's going to do something and actually commit. Unlike these Democrats and rhinos who's trying to stop the president. And here we have another video of another Democrat calling for the president to be impeached and removed from office. Play clip.
If Democrats win the House and possibly the Senate in November, there's a better than even chance Donald Trump gets impeached again.
Absolutely. He should be impeached now. I mean, he's taken us into a disastrous war, threatening war crimes in Iran in terms of knocking out plants and knocking out electricity. And the Democrats will impeach him once we take back the House, and should impeach him for all the things he's done. And depending on the Senate, he may face conviction if we get to 60, especially if his numbers keep going down and the Epstein issue continues to be a vulnerability.
So this guy, Ro Khanna, he's been the new mouthpiece for the Democrats. And he's been making the rounds recently a lot. He's been on TV a lot, which begs the question, is he trying to run for president in 2028? Because he's from California. I don't think he's going to run for governor. I don't think he's going to run for any Senate seat over there, because it's too late for both, which only leaves one option. He's going to try to make a move in 2028, which is the reason why you see him a lot on TV lately trying to attack the president and every move that he's been making. And here we have a clip of Ro Khanna being called out on Fox News. Play clip.
You know, I would just ask you where the war crime is and whether or not you think that Iran has been guilty of war crimes, killing almost 40,000 of their own people, gunning them down in the street.
Martha, obviously.
He was asked about war crimes because he's been going around on different media networks spreading lies that the president and the military is committing war crimes in Iran. But let's continue the video.
Iran is guilty of war crimes, but America is different. We don't go threatening genocide. We don't threaten to wipe civilizations off the face of the earth. That is what makes America different. The president doing this is destroying everything this country stands for. We're the good guys. We're the ones who defeated tyranny.
Let me ask you this. So, I mean, we've all been watching President Trump for a long time. Is that really what you see here? Or do you see this as a way to get Iran to open up the strait, to come to negotiations, and hopefully to have new leadership that won't oppress its people, new leadership that won't make children and women line up around energy sites, which is a Geneva Convention violation? You know, I think we need to look at the history of the way that President Trump negotiates these things and to see that, you know, unless you're very clear and you have a serious stick that you're holding over this situation, you're not likely to get anywhere.
Martha, you don't have to.
And she brought up a good point. This is literally how President Trump negotiates, because what he does is that he essentially make a lot of threats, right? And President Trump likes to be unpredictable, where his adversaries, our adversaries, they're not going to know if the president is bluffing or not. Because one of the reasons why they've been saying, oh, the president is threatening war crimes is because, for one, he told Iran that if you don't come to the negotiating table, we're going to bomb your bridges and we're going to bomb your power grids. And what you're going to have as a result of this is that you're going to have an entire civilization at risk. And it worked because it brought Iran to the negotiating table to agree to that 2-week ceasefire. Let us continue the clip.
Threaten genocide to get Iran to open up the Strait of Hormuz. I mean, we've lost the plot here. The president has lost the plot. The president went in to say that he wanted to free the Iranian people. Now he's talking about destroying 90 million people.
I was speaking with Nazimonian, and I've spoken with a lot of Iranian activists who want this.
They want him to threaten to wipe out 91 million people?
I think they understand what
This is
I don't think anyone's talking about
This is not a New York
destroying
real
90 million
estate
people.
deal. He's the president of the United States.
Yeah.
The commander-in-chief was
What do
saying
you?
we're going
I
to
guess
kill
the question
91
is, what do you
million.
suggest? This is
I'll tell you
this
what
is
we
a
can do to
leadership.
end
Let me just clarify my question. So this is a leadership that has killed 1,500 American soldiers, maimed 4,500. They have through proxies
They're an evil regime. You're not
carried
gonna-
off.
And that brings us to the end of today's show. Please let me know what you think in the comment section below. Also, please consider liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.